Hey friends, welcome back to Bumbly Beach Adventure Park. This is episode number 4, and we are completely done with this side of the park. We have backstage areas, we have new signage and new rides, so there's a lot to look at. We'll jump into the updates first, and then we'll have a silent park tour with POVs to end the video. So stick around, enjoy the ride, and hold on. Hi there, just want to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Logan, or Drorora, as the channel name says, and welcome to Bumbly Beach Adventure Park. This is the second project that I started in this game, and I'm excited to have finally completed the first half of it, which is the theme park part of it that you're seeing on the screen right now. We'll eventually start on the water park, that is the empty plot of land behind the road, behind this theme park, to the left, not the back, right, the left. And I'll be starting on that on the next episode. We'll have time lapses and all that kind of stuff just to kind of show off that process, because I haven't built a water park since Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. It's been a long time, so I'm really excited to get started on that. But first I wanted to say, if you are already through the dialogue at this point, please make sure you subscribe, and more importantly, like the video and leave comments. Apparently this is a really slow time for YouTube, the start of summer here in North America and all that kind of stuff. So people aren't really watching videos as much. So if you leave comments, it pushes the video to other viewers faster than it would if you just like the video or even just watch it. So enough of that. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We're about to dive into a pretty long, detailed video. So if this is your thing, great. Watch the whole thing, interact. If it's not, there'll be timestamps below where we'll have various parts of the build, such as backstage areas, plus we also have a park tour at the end of this video that will be silent with B-roll and POVs. So no harm, no foul if that's more your thing. This video really has something for everybody, so enjoy what you want. I'm going to go ahead and pass the torch over to 1 a.m. Logan here, where we start looking at all the things that are new with the park. So please enjoy. Alright, first and foremost, the first thing that's brand new in the plot of land right next to the entrance is the Bumbly Wheel. Bumbly Wheel, I feel like, was a no-brainer to put in here. Every single beachside park, I feel like, has a Ferris wheel, and this park was just kind of missing that old school ride vibe. It had a bunch of new stuff. I felt like it just needed a classic ride, so here we are at the Ferris wheel. My favorite thing about this is this piece right here is a billboard. It just sits so nicely on the already plated thing on the Ferris wheel there. It just looks so nice. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Just here's video wall panel around 2 meters. Fantastic. I have them on both sides here. Another thing with this is that we have a lot of vegetation growing around it. And I wanted to give the idea and the vibe that this was kind of neglected. You know, it's kind of insinuated, it's with it being an older ride, that is one of the first rides at the park. And, you know, the new shiny rides over here are really what matters. So I wanted to give that kind of impression here. There is a nice, lovely pond right here. And we have a nice backstage area we'll get to in a second. So it's not totally neglected. And you still get, you know, nice views of the park from this Ferris wheel, as well as Bumbly Beach. So let's keep trucking along with what's new here before we get into the tour. We'll start with our backstage areas. So no park of mine feels complete unless I have a full-on backstage system, and I have 3 new areas that I'm excited to show you. The first one is right behind this new building here, the Drink Stop building. If we walk through here, we can see we have staff only, and boom, we have a little entrance into the building itself, and then we have some vents as well as a power socket and what I'm pretending is a faucet connection point, and I have these all throughout the park now. If maintenance needed to, you know, connect a hose to spray down the sidewalk or clean buildings or water plants, you know, they have those accessibility points. But as we walk on through here to the backstage area, we'll see we have dumpsters, which is so exciting. We love dumpsters. These are from the workshop. I forget the name, but everything will be in the description with the creators, the download codes, and all that kind of stuff if you want to download it yourself, and just to give those people their credit. I really like the way this area back here turned out. Here's some more Frontier workshop items. These, I can tell you, Actually, I was going to recall the name. I think it's GoodFox. Yeah, it's GoodFox. This whole pack came from GoodFox right here, except for these two. And, you know, it's just some odds and ends. I love these pallets here, and you'll see more of those in a moment. But these fence I did make. They're just little half-wall section pieces, the ungridded version. Yeah, these modern wood walls. And then I have just, you know, wall molding as the post here. There was a fence that was in Planet Coaster 1 that looked very similar to this that is not currently in the game. So this is my way of recreating it. If you go back and look at the Wonder Lake videos I used to make, you'll see plenty of them. They're basically my indication that this is a backstage area. They're pretty neutral, but they also, I don't know, I just like the vibe they give. That it's weird, they're just fence, but they definitely just give me that kind of mindset that, like, okay, we're in a backstage area, guests shouldn't be back here. Speaking of which, we have a nice chain fence here, a chain gate for the dump trucks to come back. And yeah, there's nice vomit right here that will probably never get cleaned. So that's fantastic, and litter. How ironic. But yeah, there's backstage area number 1. Let's go ahead and go to backstage area number 2. Alright, so before we head on over to backstage area number 2, you can see we landed on a name for our Senora Frogs recreation, and it is Senora Toads. Thanks for the suggestion in the previous video from one of our comments. It's pretty silly. The original comment was Senorita Toads, but I went with Senora Toads. I went ahead and customized the sign with, once again, apostrophes here. There's not this, I don't, forgive me, I don't know what these are technically called in Spanish, but this does not exist in the game, so I had to custom make this with cylinder pieces. It looks really clunky up front, like right up close, I should say, but from a distance, you know, you can't really tell fully. It blends into the environment, looks really well. So I added all these nice lights to it, and we did finish the interior, but you know, if you want to see the interior, you can download this park. The link is in the description. It's not really worth putting in the video. It's pretty bad. I'm not going to lie to you. It's really bad. But with that being said, we do have this finished picnic area. Guests don't want to sit in the tables for some reason, except this one. I'm not sure what it is. But we did finish this. I have nice sand, a great view of Bumbly Beach Grand Prix, and a little pond over here just to kind of give us a cozy little vibe on the outskirts of the Midway. I really love how this turned out. I would hang out here if I was at the park. It'd be a nice place to grab a bite. Got this retro Art Deco style dinner spot right here. What's there not to like? And you get to see the entire park from here, so a nice spot. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out backstage area number 2. So as we can see, we have our lovely staff only sign. We'll go ahead and just walk through this fence that definitely is not a gate and go through to this area right here. So this area back here is a staff break room. Oh, perfect timing there. I clearly need to work on the past. You're not staff. Get out of here. Anyways, despite them being here, I wanted this to feel as like corporate as possible. So, you know, we have, you know, vegetation, flowers and stuff. It makes it look really nice and pretty, but there's these, you know, stale white walls that are here. So I really want this to feel like that kind of vibe. You walk back here, you come through these doors, you know, you talk to HR, you get your uniform, you clock in, you clock out. You can come back here and bring your lunch and sit here and hang out with your coworker friends. That was very much the vibe I was going for, and I think I accomplished it here. So this is not an area you'll really see in the park, but for some reason I'm really proud of it. So with that being said, let's go check out backstage area number 3. I'm actually incredibly proud of this one, and it's actually one of my favorite parts of the park, even though it's a backstage area. Alright, so you're looking at backstage area number 3. And before we get into that, you can see a ton has changed over here with Ace. And we'll get into that in a moment. We added more details, plenty of details. Excuse me. We added plenty of details into this ride in this part of the park. But let's go ahead and get a little brief tour of this backstage area. So I'm going to go into first person mode for this. I'm really proud with how this turned out. I used to work in a warehouse. And my job that I worked in was in and out of the warehouse quite a bit for about 2 years. And it sounds silly, but these custom-made shelves look just like the ones you'll see in most warehouses. Excuse me. The pallets are empty. I didn't feel like it was really worth adding a bunch of pieces to, but we can just pretend there's like parts and stuff here. So we have a scissor lift and a forklift in this side of the warehouse. These are both from Frontier Workshop. Once again, link down in the description if you do want to download them. They're pretty nifty. And it's just really just adding clutter. I mean, this forklift doesn't even look to have wheels. I'm not sure if I just didn't copy them over or what the case is. I might have to fix that. But you know, I really wanted to do an interior for this warehouse. It's a pretty simple build, so nothing too crazy. We have warehouse number 1. Warehouse number 2 over here is just a facade. There's no interior to it, and mostly because I wanted to show off this really cool concept for this garage door. So let me get out of first person mode here. So you can see that these garage doors are actually just gutters. They're gutters that are just copied and pasted on top of each other. And it really does a great job of selling the effect of being a warehouse door. And we have more right here that are lined up here. So really specific stuff, but I love the way it turned out. And this is like one of my first like real full-on detail backstage areas. One thing to mention too is we have some supports here for the future water park, which is really exciting. I'm really excited to start building that, but that's a conversation for another time. But let's just pretend that's what that is. That's what it's here for. So yeah, that is Backstage Area number 2. You get a great view of Ace right here. Just no, you don't get this view anywhere else in the park. So I love this part of the park, and I'm excited to show you some of the new changes to Ace since we're on that topic. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. All right, so Ace is definitely seeing some of the most time in this park. I've probably put a collective of 3 to 4 hours on this whole collective area right here, including this new building, which we'll get to after we're done looking at Ace. First, I wanted to show off, one, I cleaned up this before we go over there. Let me get my camera act under control here. There was a lot of foliage right here, a lot of vegetation just kind of piled up here, and it kind of looked abandoned. I took a picture and put it on the Bro Nation Discord, and after looking at it, I was like, yeah, we gotta clean that up. Obviously, we got rid of the signs here. There was 2 signs here originally, and I replaced it with this billboard sign here that I generated this logo in ChatGPT. But we got rid of the signs and all the foliage and just cleaned it up a little bit. I figured this would be a relatively new ride over the last couple of years since these RMC single roller coasters are relatively new. I want to say the most new one was like 3 or 4 years ago, but don't quote me on that. Maybe COVID times, I'm not totally sure. But I figured I would kind of make this really cleaned up just to kind of show like this is the pride of the park. But anyways, I added a lot of realism elements to this. Firstly, we have these mesh fence right here. So the wooden grid fence is what it's called in game. I think this works really well for adding protection netting across the chain lift here. So if you look at pretty much any single rail coaster, they have these alongside the chain lift and across the catwalk. So there's catwalk, there's usually netting. So I decided to add that. You could do this in various different ways. You could go ahead and get the mesh that exists by itself and then use shapes or supports to make this a little cleaner if you wanted to. This worked for what I was going for. I'm happy with it, but I do wish the mesh was a little smaller because it's comparatively that's still pretty large. Like I think small things could fall through there, but it gets the effect across, and that's really what matters. We also added when I say we, I mean me. I added these lights going across that you'll see at night mode, but also I added this guy right here to both Ace and our free fall tower here for airlines to see. You typically will see these on taller roller coasters, just to make sure airlines kind of have an invisibility if there's an airport nearby, just to make sure, extra precautions. So there's those elements of realism for Ace. And let's go ahead and take a look at the queue line here. We'll go in first person mode again. So we have our sign, we have our enter for flight sign, and then we have this really cool information sign that I found online. I think I found it on Planet Coaster subreddit for on Reddit, excuse me. I found it on Reddit. The only thing I changed was the ride title. You can see there that it's Ace. We did change that, but everything else is the same. So special shout out to whoever made that. I wish I could remember all these people's names, but with this game being so collaborative, it's really hard to remember all these people's names. But once again, I'll drop the link to that in the description. So as we walk through to the queue line, we can see that it's pretty lightly themed. It follows that aesthetic of being kind of a lower budget park. Well, there's some effort here. My favorite part is this. This is the single piece of theming in the queue. God, it's just so lazy. But it is genuinely hilarious. I had every intention on adding more stuff to this, but then I started convincing myself, I'm like, okay, this is a budget theme park. They're not going to have money to afford putting theming in all of this queue line, so we went ahead and put these canopies up instead. Every hot beach theme park needs to have canopies in the queue, so that's where we put our money instead. As we go up the queue here, you get a really beautiful view of the ride. I'm a big fan of this view right here. You can see pretty much the entire ride. You don't get a great view of the first drop, but you can see pretty much everything, and it's really interactive, especially this part right here. So looking into the station, the only thing that changed with this is we added these, I keep saying we like there's multiple people doing this. I added these tube lights here and enclosed the ceiling here to the right, just to give it a flatter feel. It felt a little too, like there's too much depth in here, there's too much going on, so I added these ceilings in here just to kind of close it off. So that's a look at Ace. We'll have a POV at the end of the video for this ride, both day and night. And yeah, let's check out what else is new. All right, as we're walking away from Ace here, we can see we have a new canopy section here. So if you're sitting, or if your loved ones are, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. If your loved ones are riding rides like Ace and you don't like inversions, or you don't like free falls, or you don't like Vertigo, you can chill out and hang out under this canopy area here and wait for your family or your friends to be done riding the rides that you fear. So we have that. Or if you just need to cool off, there's no fear here. Just sit down, enjoy yourself in the shade. But if you don't just want to sit in the shade in the great outdoors, you can go into this building right here. So this building is brand new. I just made this a few hours ago, and it's, truth be told, it just has facilities in there that I needed in the park. There's some food, there's restrooms, there's changing rooms, all that kind of stuff for the future water park. I'm not changing rooms, excuse me. There's a bathing suit store. Gosh, I'm struggling. But I like the way this building turned out. It's not my favorite building in the park, but it's kind of quirky. I took some inspiration for some buildings, once again in Miami. A lot of this glass, a lot of these cubed glass looking windows here that turns out are just like these Western, if I can click it here, these aquatic, windows. They actually end up working really well. We also have these resort, I guess there's generic Planet Coaster windows, and then these circle windows that appear throughout the park. And then looking into this into more detail, we have all of these shapes right here for the trim of the building, and then we have a big cylinder here with smaller narrow cylinders to give that kind of cool Art Deco cylindrical appearance, So there's this building. I'm not the greatest at interiors, so I decided to just avoid doing interior for this building. In the future, for larger projects, I probably will do more interiors. I used to do them a lot in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, but I just have it in this project. This project, as you can see, this is update number 4, and we're done with this section of the park. It's meant to be a smaller, less time conducive park. So there's that. There's this side of the building. But now I'm gonna go ahead and turn my attention to one of my favorite additions. It looks like it says Rise of Mu, but it's actually Rise of the, I'm guessing it's Mu? I'm not sure. If you're from Hawaii and you're watching this video, please correct me. I did very minimal research to this ride, or this name, but apparently it's just like kind of a myth on Hawaiian monsters. once again, did not do much research on this. I just thought it was a really cool concept, and kind of took the same concept of the previous hypercoaster I made, the B&M hypercoaster. When it comes to the name, I didn't do a ton of research and just kind of dove into this. It's a drop coaster, or a drop tower, excuse me. It's fun. So I'm gonna go out of first person mode here and go to this view right here just to kind of see the queue. We can definitely kind of get the Hawaiian theme now. It looks like it's on the outskirts of a volcano. We have tiki torches here lining the ride just to give it more of that. It's a bunch of fire and stuff around it just to give it kind of that vibe to it. This one's even leaning. Good stuff. There's signs that are kind of falling apart. Just very simple stuff here. Nothing crazy. It's a drop tower. It doesn't need to be the most important focal point of the park, but it definitely is one of the more intense rides that people clearly love. I don't know what this is. I hate that Planet Coaster does this. I wish it just capped and people wouldn't line up, or they would create a line on the path. That'd be awesome. But gripes aside, I'm really happy with how this turned out. We have these Jurassic Park looking fences kind of separating the generic part of the park from this little section here that is kind of volcanic in action. So we got a little exit sign here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this section of the park, or at least for these two things. I want to go ahead and show off a couple more sections. So over here real quick, just while we're here, we finished adding vegetation to this go-kart track. Once again, add a little fountain feature and a little pond. This is a section of the park that goes to the water park, which, as you can see, is coming soon. We have this construction fence kind of blocking our view here. But eventually this will be a separate entrance going to the water park, so I figured why not add some water features here. So very small details, but there's that. Eventually this will open up and we'll have a nice entrance running off here, so that'll be in the next video, I'm sure. So there's that. And over here we added a nice little food stall. This came from the Frontier Workshop. The link will be in the code will be in the description below. The only thing I added was I actually added vendors here. So we have slushies, and I can't remember what this is. If it's hats, Fantastique, or to be honest, I can't really tell. I guess it doesn't really fully matter. He's hanging out in there, waving at people, having a good time. But this part of the park was really missing. Oh, he's doing the moonwalk here. That's fun. This part of the park was really missing, just small, just anything to grab your attention. It was pretty bare just walking through here, so I figured why not add a little food stall, and I found this on the workshop and it works out really well. Yeah, I love it. It's really cheeky. Speaking of cheeky, we have our little Bumbly Beach cow, Cosmic Cow milkshake stall here. I did get this this outfit from the workshop, then added this custom text here as well as the extensions. It's really cheeky and corny, but there's a story behind the Bumbly Beach cows that made me chuckle. That I'm just gonna keep to myself. It's from a long time ago. It doesn't matter. It's not really pertinent, but it made me chuckle. Want to put that on here, but oh, we did have. That's odd. I had a whole different sidewalk here. I'll have to go and fix that. That's weird. I had a sidewalk here that was covering that kind of sectioned this off. But regardless, we have man, that really annoys me. Sorry. We have a little seating area here for you to enjoy your milkshake and watch the Bumbly Beach Grand Prix, or I totally just said Grand Prix, the Grand Prix, or Waterfountain, or even Bumbly Beach Hills circuit. So a lot of cool views here. Just relax at this corner of the park. This is definitely a more quiet part of the park, which I kind of like, just being a dead end with this flat right here and these go-karts. Man, I must have really messed something up with the passes. I'll have to fix that. This was not here before. This fence was not here. But regardless, while we're here, this is just a fountain I added just to fill up this space. It was empty before. It was just all the sidewalk, so I decided to add this fountain here just to give a little more detail. Alright, so there you have it. There is Bumbly Beach Adventure Park. I'm super stoked about how this park turned out. Like, I just really enjoy everything about it. And this is actually my first project I'm like fully finishing, or first park I'm fully finishing on YouTube. So that's really exciting. Thank you for 4 subscribers. I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much for showing up. If you like this video, go ahead and like it, subscribe it. The rest of the video is going to be just silent. I'm not going to be talking at all. It's just going to be a walkthrough of the park with POVs and some nighttime shots as well. So go ahead and comment below what your favorite thing about the park is. And if you have any ideas for the water park, shoot those below. I can tell you now, we're going to probably feature a wave pool, a lazy river, plenty of slides, and a splash zone. So I'm really excited to dive into that. I've not really played with the water park feature too much in this game, and I'm really excited to do that. So we're going to bring back time lapses for the second half of Bumbly Beach Adventure Park, which I guess we just call the water park. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I'm really looking forward to diving into that playstyle for this project. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the end. Goodbye.
Hello?
Alright, there you have it. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching Bumbly Beach Amusement Park through these 4 updates. I'm really grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for 400 subscribers, and I'm excited for the next 400. So if you like this, share it with your friends, and do all the kind YouTube stuff. I'm excited to bring you the water park. We'll be having those updates soon. I'll be taking a quick break before I jump into that, but those updates will come a lot faster than 6 months. So stick around. We'll see you soon. Hope you have a good night or evening. Bye-bye.